Alright guys, we are back on the books account. This is a little bit into the video because I forgot to record the intro, so I've already done some of the bosses at this point. But yeah, the goal for today's video is to beat every boss of Plantera and maybe even Plantera as well, and which can try to get some new books and some new gear. So without further ado, sit back, relax, grab a snack, and enjoy the show. The next thing I did was try to fight the twins because I felt that my gear was good enough now, and I'll just let you guys see how that fight went. But after defeating the twins, I wasn't done. I decided that since I still had my buffs and I was feeling good, that I should just go straight into fighting Skeletron Prime. And here's how that one went. So, my whole strat for this boss was to switch between the Golden Shower and the Seething Discharge. I realized I didn't even need to kill the arms as long as I had the Ichor debuff on the head, and I just mainly shot at it. I still had to kill the arms at some point, but that was my main focus for this fight. And after getting him down to here where I had all of the arms destroyed, the fight became a lot easier. Dodging these skulls wasn't too bad. It was definitely easier than dodging all the arms. And then eventually he got low enough and we beat Skeletron Prime in the same night. And with both of those bosses defeated, we had 2 new relics to place on the stand, which probably is the last time I'm going to be able to do that in a video. And we had a ton of new loot from killing the 2 bosses, including all the different souls, and of course we had the expert mode minecart. I then went and made full hollowed armor so that I could have slightly more defense and also have a better chance of dodging things. And then I actually had to go mine hollowed ore, which I didn't know was a thing you could do, but I guess that Calamity added it because I didn't have enough bars to make a Drax. So I did that real quick, and then we got on for some more progression. Then I used some life fruit and a ton of other stuff to make the blood orange, which increased my health by 25. And I think it's a really cool addition by Calamity, because having the extra health means you can have so much more potential with what you do with bosses. So I really like that addition to the game. I then went looking in the underground ice biome to find some cryonic ore, and this was helpful just because I needed it to upgrade my crystal storm to the shade crystal barrage, which actually had a homing effect, meaning that I could actually use the crystal storm a lot more effectively against bosses. And once I crafted these cryonic bars, I could finally upgrade my crystal storm to the shade crystal barrage. And actually my first modifier for the shade crystal barrage was damage, so I went to go reforge it really quickly. But I mean, this was a pretty cool weapon. You could shoot it down and all the little crystals kind of homed in on enemies, which just made the DPS from the crystal storm significantly higher. And also it was made with cryonic bars because it inflicts frostburn, which is a huge plus for a weapon like this, because I didn't have any frostburn debuff on any of my books anymore, so it was nice to have that back. Also, another thing that's just great about Calamity is being able to reforge and have it always be a better modifier, so it made it pretty easy to get to mythical for all the books I've done so far, and to get all my accessories to warding or menacing depending on what I want. And then with all these new upgrades, it was time to fight the Calamitous clone. Now, the first thing I noticed about this boss is the screen instantly went dark. I mean, that was kind of crazy. The whole atmosphere changed, and it made me kind of lock in. But the main thing with this boss is it started out kind of like an Eye of Cthulhu. He was just shooting a ton of random projectiles at me, though. And I mean, they didn't really do anything because none of them were hitting me. They were really slow. They didn't home. I wasn't worried at all. And after I got done that phase, he he started doing some bigger attacks. Then he summoned all these little like projectiles, and I couldn't attack him during this phase, and I just had to dodge them all. I mean, luckily they were pretty slow and it's kind of easy, but I think it's foreshadowing for later bosses. I mean, that's my guess right now. I don't actually know what the other bosses in this game do. But yeah, no, my Shade Crystal Barrage was still shredding him. The homing projectiles, the Frostburn, and the Ichor just made the health go down so fast. Like, I was kind of blazing through this boss. And then he started doing some dashes, kind of like the Eye of Cthulhu or like Spaz. And I mean, we were still melting his health at this point. I had Adrenaline, I had Rage. I wasn't getting hit at all, so I wasn't worried. Like, I was down to like maybe 100 health at the lowest here, or like 200. But I mean, I had heals, so I wasn't worried. And then he summoned the twins. I was so confused what was going on. I mean, the twins just came out of nowhere. I had to deal with a Ret and Spaz in just the middle of a boss fight. I don't think the actual boss was shooting at me, or no, the actual boss was still shooting at me during this, which was kind of weird. But yeah, no, I didn't know what was going on at this point. Like, why am I having to fight Spaz in the middle of a different boss fight? But you know, we were still shredding him pretty easily. Spaz wasn't getting close to me just because I had literally fought him like maybe 2 hours before this, so I wasn't really worried at all. Like, he was barely hitting me, and I took down the copy of the twins pretty quickly, and then it was time to go back to fighting the boss. After about like 5 seconds of just shooting him back to normal again, or he was doing the first phase all over again, he summoned these little, I don't even know what to call them, like probes, I guess, but there were like 5 of them around him. And I mean, I was shredding them too. Like, it just made it harder to actually do damage to the boss just because the little probes were tanking most of it. And the extra projectiles they shot at were a little bit annoying, but most of them weren't hitting me, and even when they did like no damage, I don't think. Like, I don't remember even getting low at this point in this game. But yeah, no, I was shredding him pretty easily, and then we beat the 5 little things around him, and it was time for the next part of this boss fight. So once those were gone, he started doing the same attack again, but this rain started to fall in the background, so I was like, oh shoot, something's probably coming. And I was right. Like, he started dashing at me a ton like he was Eye of Cthulhu, and I just had to try to dodge all the projectiles. This was the lowest I got during the whole fight. Like, I was like below 100 health here for like a little bit. And then he did the projectile thing again, but there were more projectiles this time. Like, he was shooting the ones that were splitting into 8 in the middle of this attack. I somehow still didn't get hit during this. Like, I feel like I would expect myself to get hit more, but he was too low at this point. We just kept shredding him, and eventually we took down the Calamitous clone. I think this has probably been my favorite boss from like that Calamity's added so far. Like, I definitely enjoyed the fight. It was really interesting. But yeah, that is the Calamitous clone down. And of course, that's another relic added to the stand. I then opened up the treasure bag and got a ton of interesting stuff, like this Chaos Stone and all these little fragments that I would use to make the armor set that went with this boss. But the main thing I looked at was this. It was called the Void of Calamity, and kind of worked the same way a Destroyer Emblem does, where it does 12% increased damage to everything, but it also had an extra effect of raining down brimstone fire from the sky, which I thought was really helpful, considering that I was going to use the Shade Crystal Barrage more than I was going to use the Seething Discharge. And so I quickly reforged it to Warding, just so that I could use it instead of my like emblem, just because like I felt like the 3% extra damage wasn't worth the extra effects that it would give me. So that would become a key part of my loadout. And then I went back home and made the new armor set. With my new armor and gear, I went to go kill Queen Bee because I just like completely forgot to do that, and I actually couldn't find her spawn. I found this really big hive, but I couldn't find the larva for the longest time, and I don't actually know when I broke it, but apparently I broke a larva somewhere in here. Like, I spent a while looking for it. I wasn't building an arena for Queen Bee because I was like already pretty deep into hard mode. I had fairly good gear. I wasn't worried about fighting her at all. I just wanted to get it done so I could say that I've beaten all the bosses. I was gonna do the same thing for Deerclops, but like I've lucky never fought Deerclops on any of my accounts, so I didn't even know what to get for that. But yeah, no, here I just went in this puddle, and I guess there was a Queen Bee thing in there, and this is how my fight against Queen Bee went. I literally I stood against this wall, and I shot my Shade Crystal Barrage at her. I should have used the Seething Discharge, but like, you know, it's whatever. I mean, I switched to it eventually, but I should have used it more because like she was just in the walls. But I mean, I'm saying more like this fight was long. It took about like 20 seconds for me to kill Queen Bee. She just couldn't do any damage to me, and I just had to wait for her to like be in a place where I could hit her with my weapon. And yeah, that's how I beat Queen Bee. So, it's another relic to add to the stand. And with Queen Bee defeated, that was the last relic for our stand for this video. I decided I wouldn't fight Plantera for this video. Like, I had a ton of bulbs, and I actually did attempt fighting her once with like half of the size of the arena that I was going to build, just to see if I really needed to make it the full size. And I realized I did, and I feel like that would just take too long for me to do, because this was right before I got off for the day. So I didn't want to wait a whole another day to do this and then have to also make this video. So yeah, that's why we did not fight Plantera today. But you know, that'll definitely be the first boss for next video. I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.